You know, I've never heard any cases or people describing Bigfoot with claws, but I mean, that certainly looks like a human hairy hand.
In the deep wilderness where signals fade and sunlight dissolves into stone, a drone slipped beneath Oregon's fractured earth and revealed a puzzle no one expected.
Hey, are those cameras rolling?
Yep.
Yeah? That one too? Bring them. Here, come on.
What began as a search for scattered clues drifted toward a turning point, shaped by hidden tunnels, collected hair, and even a quiet government acknowledgment that suggested this mystery might be far older than the expedition realized. The hidden wilderness and the search begins. The remote wilderness of Oregon has long been a landscape defined by silence, steep ridgelines, and a kind of restless secrecy that invites investigators while resisting their presence. When the expedition Bigfoot team entered this environment, they understood that the terrain itself would shape every choice they made, because forests this dense create shadows that behave almost like moving walls. Their objective was simple in theory, yet profoundly complex in execution. Since they intended to document patterns that had followed them across previous expeditions, particularly the electronic disturbances that seemed to linger in places associated with reported sightings. Although these anomalies were easy to dismiss individually, the repetition had grown impossible to ignore, prompting the crew to revisit areas with reputations for strange activity. As they advanced deeper into this landscape, the team sensed how the wilderness could shift from familiar to unsettling within a few steps, because the quiet carried an unusual heaviness that hinted at an unseen presence. The early stages of their search were shaped less by what they found, and more by what resisted detection, which intensified their determination to rely on both technology and instinct. This atmosphere ultimately guided them toward the unstable mineshaft that would alter the entire investigation. Technology versus the unknown. The abandoned mineshaft appeared first as a dark seam in the hillside, yet the closer the team approached, the more it resembled an opening carved not only by industry, but by time itself. Its unstable beams and fractured rock made entry far too dangerous for anyone on foot, which is why the crew relied on their most advanced tool, a drone engineered to maintain signal integrity even in environments known to interfere with transmission. As the drone descended past the threshold, its lights revealed narrow passages twisting deeper into the earth, producing a sensation of entering a place that had been forgotten long before modern exploration began. At first, the device transmitted a stable feed, capturing each layer of sediment and collapsed timber with remarkable clarity, which reassured the pilot that the mission would continue without issue. That confidence vanished abruptly when the signal collapsed in an instant, rather than fading in predictable stages, leaving the crew with a silence that felt unnervingly deliberate. Experienced operators knew how drones typically failed, yet nothing about this disruption followed known patterns, prompting them to question whether an unseen environmental factor was influencing the machine. When they attempted reconnection from a secondary opening, the drone reappeared within a branching system far more intricate than expected, suggesting that these tunnels extended beneath the ridge in multiple directions. One passage even contained green foliage lying hundreds of feet from any natural light source, raising questions about how such plant material arrived in a place incapable of sustaining it. The discovery of reddish-brown and pale hair samples near the tunnel reinforced the impression that a living creature was utilizing the mine network. Each fragment was collected carefully for future analysis, and the team recognized that the investigation had moved beyond speculation into a realm where evidence was accumulating faster than explanations could be formed. Movement that defies animal behavior. While the mine investigation deepened the mystery beneath their feet, an unexpected breakthrough surfaced in the open terrain when Russell widened his surveillance sweep across a distant hillside. Through the long lens of his camera, he initially identified what appeared to be a bear moving slowly among the brush, a conclusion supported by the dark fur and the general outline of the figure. However, as he continued observing, the creature shifted in a way that immediately unsettled his assumptions, because instead of remaining on all fours, it rose into a fully upright posture with a smoothness that no known bear could replicate. The motion carried an unmistakably human cadence, marked by an attentive head turn and a deliberate step forward before it disappeared into the tree line. When Russell replayed the footage for the team, the details acquired new weight under closer scrutiny. Maria, drawing from her scientific background, noted the creature's head-to-floor movement and the controlled orientation of its shoulders, both of which reflected bipedal coordination rather than the unstable, swaying balance typical of bears attempting to stand. The more the group examined the recording, the clearer it became that the figure did not match the biomechanics of any regional wildlife, because its gait demonstrated an efficiency associated with creatures evolutionarily adapted to walking upright. The behavioral nuance struck them most deeply, since the creature's brief pause and observational head turn suggested awareness of its surroundings rather than instinctive flight. Combined with the distance at which the sighting occurred, the clarity of the movement created a compelling contrast between expectation and reality. As discussion grew among the team, the footage marked a significant turning point, shifting their search from environmental anomalies toward the possibility of an intelligent, elusive species capable of monitoring its observers as closely as they watched it. High-altitude evidence. As the team continued analyzing Russell's footage, a separate investigation unfolding hundreds of miles away introduced another layer of complexity to the mystery. A man named John had captured unusual movement high along the Wasatch Front, where a stark, windswept ridge rose nearly a mile above the valley floor. Researchers reviewing his video observed a distant figure traversing deep snow with a level of speed and confidence that appeared incompatible with the terrain, especially given that the snowpack reached nearly 90 inches in depth. The creature moved horizontally across the slope before accelerating straight uphill, displaying a climbing efficiency rarely seen in large mammals under such extreme conditions. To understand the physical demands of the environment, the researchers conducted their own test in significantly shallower snow. Even in 18 inches, a 6-foot physically strong man struggled to maintain consistent footing, losing stability with nearly every step. This comparison underscored how extraordinary the filmed movement truly was. Because the creature in the footage advanced with a fluent rhythm, it suggested exceptional height, strength, and limb articulation. When a helicopter pilot later surveyed the ridge, he located a fading trackway that matched the creature's direction of travel, although strong winds had begun to erase the prints. Researchers noted that the tracks bore features consistent with reports of tightrope-style gait patterns, where footprints align in a straight line rather than the wider stance typical of bears. The combination of stride length, trackway depth, and biomechanical fluidity reinforced the idea that the creature operated with physical capabilities that extended beyond any known species in the region. The Special Ops encounter. While researchers were analyzing the high-altitude footage, a separate account from decades earlier offered an unexpectedly detailed comparison, because it came from individuals trained to evaluate threats with precision rather than imagination. In 1994, a U.S. Special Operations team conducting winter training east of Fairbanks encountered a trail of footprints unlike anything they had observed in previous missions. Each print measured roughly 18 inches in length and was spaced nearly 5 feet apart, a configuration that implied a creature of considerable height moving through deep snow with an efficiency that surpassed even the most conditioned soldiers. When one team member attempted to replicate the stride without snowshoes, he immediately sank to his knees, demonstrating the immense power required to produce such clean impressions. As the team followed the trackway through dense forest, they noticed how the path avoided open spaces and instead navigated ridges and sheltered corridors, mirroring the tactics used by trained personnel seeking to remain concealed. This strategic movement suggested intentionality rather than instinct, which unsettled the group more than any physical evidence. Later that night, the forest erupted with deep, resonant vocalizations that did not resemble wolves, moose, or any other regional wildlife. And the shifting sounds circled the team's camp with a deliberateness that heightened their concern. Breaking branches and abrupt silences amplified the sense that something large was observing them rather than merely passing through. By dawn, fresh prints and a recently broken pine tree confirmed the creature's proximity. The encounter left the unit with a lasting impression of a powerful, intelligent presence capable of moving through the wilderness with an expertise that matched or exceeded their own training. The hidden acknowledgment. As the team compared modern encounters with historical patterns, a revelation from an unexpected source added a striking dimension to their investigation. In 1976, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers released the Washington Environmental Atlas, a government-issued reference created to document terrain, wildlife distributions, and ecological conditions across the Pacific Northwest. Buried within its pages, researchers later noticed an unusual inclusion, a mapped range for a creature identified as Sasquatch. The atlas did not treat the figure as folklore or cultural symbolism. Instead, it placed the creature alongside recognized species, indicating that federal cartographers considered the sightings plausible enough to record within an official environmental survey. The mapped region overlapped extensively with areas where recent reports had surfaced, including the dense forests and mountainous corridors associated with expedition footage and military encounters. This alignment did not confirm the creature's existence, yet it demonstrated that professionals responsible for environmental assessment had once acknowledged a pattern significant enough to chart. For the expedition team, this detail reframed their evidence, suggesting that the mystery they were confronting did not emerge from isolated eyewitnesses or modern speculation. Instead, it appeared woven into the historical and geographic fabric of regions long regarded as wilderness frontiers, offering a quiet yet significant acknowledgment that deepened the investigative stakes. The atlas, the tunnels, and the sightings formed a pattern that no longer felt accidental, urging the investigation back toward the vast terrain that had guarded this secret for generations. The forests and mountains withheld more than footprints. They reminded us how much of this world still moves unseen. As the search continues, you can follow every step by staying with the channel, sharing your thoughts below, and subscribing for the next chapter in this unfolding mystery.